Has it been a while since you updated your studio website? Let's bring your website into the 2020s with some simple and straightforward advice. Teaching studio websites do not have to be complicated at all. I think they're often overcomplicated, so simple is best. I'm going to give you 6 simple rules, and if you follow these, honestly, your website will be above most of the ones out there. Rule number 1 is to think about white space. This is exactly what it sounds like. It is white space that appears on the screen. First of all, and this is kind of a side note, if your website has a colorful, wacky background, let's take that away and make it white. And then you can think about the white space, which is the space around your text. We don't want a dense wall of text. We want to make sure that there's enough white space left on the screen, literally white area that you can see, so that it doesn't feel cluttered when we're viewing it. Rule number 2 is simple language. Write your website in a way that a non-musician can understand. Simple, plain English, or your native language, is best. Don't try to sound fancy, don't try to sound academic unless you run an extremely academic fancy studio. If you're running a standard teaching kids in the local area studio, you want to sound friendly, approachable, and straightforward to a parent who is not a musician. So avoid using musical jargon. You can mention your credentials, but don't dwell too much on exactly who you studied with at which institution in a long, long list of names, because they won't know who they are, and that doesn't really matter to them. Might matter to you, but not really to them. So unless you're appealing to other musicians, that's not really appropriate. And just talk directly to them, the parents who are going to be joining your studio. Rule number 3 is to use lots of nice images on your site. It's better if they're not stock images. If you, for some reason, can't get images that aren't stock images, just try and pick ones that look less stocky. But if you can get real photos from your studio, that's the best way to go. So see if you can get photo permissions from parents in your studio and have photos of you working with smiling children. That is the best thing you can put on your website. Rule number 4 is natural keywords. So there's a lot of advice available about SEO, search engine optimization, online, and a lot of it is pretty outdated. It includes advice that basically I would call keyword stuffing. So just like, if you want the best piano lessons in Dublin, we have the best piano lessons in Dublin. Come find us for the best piano lessons in Dublin today. See what? Yeah. See how that sounds? It's not great. It's not a good look. And it's not necessary. This is old advice that really comes from, I'd say, the early 2000s at this stage. I mean, it's really outdated, and we don't need to be doing that on our sites anymore. Use keywords, but use them naturally. Keywords like piano lessons in Dublin or wherever you're based, but use it naturally in a sentence and don't feel like you need to shove it in there in the exact same way every time. Search engines are much smarter than that these days, and they will get what your site is about, and they will know whether it's written nicely for the actual reader or written for the search engine. Rule number 5 is a professional domain. So this is the web address that shows up in the browser, like colourfulkeys.ie is ours. You don't want it to be weebly.colourfulkeys.com, for example. That's called a subdomain. I prefer for a studio to have a real domain, a real web address. And I think if you think about your experience with other services you're looking up, you would kind of notice if it is a funky domain as well. So if it's dot this, dot that, slash before we get to the actual studio name, it just doesn't look super professional. And finally, rule number 6, possibly the most important of all, clear calls to action. A call to action is exactly what it sounds like. It's telling people what to do. Don't just put your website up and say how wonderful you are without telling people what they should do next. Book a trial lesson with you, get on the waiting list, get in touch to find out about times that are available. Whatever you want them to do, tell them to do that. Specifically tell them with a call to action, a button or a link or both ideally. On every single page, it should say what they should do next. What is their next step? Not just once on the homepage, but on every page. And if you have a long page, it should be one button per like scroll. So if you think about the size of a laptop screen, if you have a button at the bottom before anyone scrolls and then they scroll down because they're reading the website, there should be another button once they have scrolled down and can no longer see the previous button. Okay? So more calls to action than you think. And very direct and clear so that people know what to do next. That's it. Those are my 6 simple rules. Obviously, there's a huge amount you could know about web design and development and all the things to do with SEO. And I actually know a lot of those, but I think these 6 simple rules can take you much further than getting bogged down in details like that can. So stick with these, update that website, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments.